Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back for all the people that were together here with me during the live this morning where we checked the draws, the official draws of season 24-25 of Serie A. We now know everything, we know who we play on match day 1, we know who we play on match day 38 and all the games in between. Fast recap about the important things that you need to know here. We start with about that calendars and then we speak about Mercato because it's really getting hot about Koopmeiners, but forget about Calafiori because it's over. But I really want to come back on something because I still see Juventini that are still repeating the same question. Should Juventus have gone all in for Calafiori, forgetting about Koopmeiners? Should Juventus have done a bit more for Calafiori? Wait, because otherwise we will never get out of it and we will always have these kind of regrets. And guys, in this Mercato session, it's not time to have regrets. And there are also other names, other exciting names in today's video, so don't forget to put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe, you know it costs you absolutely zero and it's helping us, the community, more and more, you know it. If you want more guests a la Coach Rafaz, a la Luca Monblano, Romeo Agresti, etc, etc. Well, it depends on you. More the channel grows, more we have these fantastic guests here on the channel. So we start now with the fixture. Como is the first team that we will face in the Allianz Stadium. We play the weekend after Ferragosto, so the 17th or 18th of August. I can't wait for that game. The first game is always exciting because after all the preparation, finally we see the things that are there. Will it be an easy game? Well, a lot of people might say yes, it will be an easy one because we play against a promoted team. First of all, the new promoted team, they are always dangerous on that first game because it's the surprise, because it's the emotions. After 21 years they are back in Serie A, they always want to prove something. And then don't forget, there is also a total new Juventus. A total new Juventus with a new coach, with new managers, but also new players. And the most difficult part is that a lot of players from Juventus Football Club, they will not even be there for a big part of the preparation because they are or still with their national team, Copa America, etc, etc, or they just were eliminated. So will be tough, huh? A new Juventus that probably would not even have understood yet all the tactical tasks from Thiago Motta. So that first one can be a bad surprise behind the angle, but we need the corner, not the angle, the corner, but we need to do our best because winning against Como in the first match day is an obligation to start well. Then we have a Verona, the first big game will be Roma, and then match day 5 we have Napoli. In these 5 games were 2 games at home, Roma, Napoli, will not be that easy, but Juventus needs to start with a turbo. There is no other. We need to start with the turbo. The beginning of the season is extremely important, especially because if we don't do well in the beginning of the season, it will be more and more complicating, especially, and that's the big, really big, dangerous moment of the season. Between end December and beginning of February, it will be extremely tough. If you are looking at the games that Juventus will need to play, we have 5 games in a row that are total disaster. In Serie A, match day 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 are in order Fiorentina, Atalanta, Derby della Mole against Torino, Milan, and then Napoli. But in these 5 games, there is much more because after Juve Fiorentina, the team will travel to Saudi Arabia together with Inter, Milan, and Atalanta, playing 1 game, hopefully 2 games, because that means that we go to the final. So probably the Atalanta game of match day 19 will be postponed. But that's a tough one, and it's not over because there is also Champions League, and you know that this year there is a new system. It's a Super Champions League where there are also games in the month of January. There will be games of Champions League on the days of 21 and 22nd of January where we play right after Milan, the Champions League game. Then we play Napoli, and right after there is another Champions League game, the last one, the 8th game, that we are playing on the 29th of January. So it will be a total disaster. Huh? Not forgetting that then February starts, and in February you have also the Coppa Italia quarterfinal. So it will be crazy hot. I think that we will do here on the channel so many watch-alongs, so many post-game. It will be a month where nobody or none of us will sleep. It will be one after the other. And when we are looking at these kind of things, especially if you are comparing with all the other teams, it's true that Roma will have a difficult part at the end of the season, but it's really not balanced at all. Anyway, it is what it is. stop speaking about calendars. If you want more information, more details, go back on the live of this morning. Now we need to speak about Mercato, because Mercato is crazy. You see a picture, or maybe not, I don't know if I will edit, of Koopmeiners, Teun, and Riccardo Calafiori. Two players there that Juventus, they had on their target list since, you can't even imagine how long. Since really long. For Koopmeiners, we know this already since January, if not longer. For Calafiori, not as soon as January, but it started already in March, in April, with the big interest of Juve. If these two players were owned by probably another team, probably they would have already been the first two signings of Juventus. Unfortunately, the bad luck of Juve is that these two players are owned by Atalanta, Koopmeiners, Bologna for Riccardo Calafiori. And we know that these two clubs, they are going with crazy request for the both players. Crazy request. Things that are out of proportion. I always told you here on the channel, for Koopmeiners it will be tough, because 60 million euro, forget about it. Juventus will not go for it until he comes to Juve. I don't believe, of course I believe that there is a transaction, a negotiation, there are discussion that Juve is interested on player, that the player wants to come, but 60 million is a lot. For Riccardo Calafiori, I was a lot more enthusiast or believer. Why? Because the requests of Bologna, from what I heard, were much lower, were 25, 27, up to 30. But things changed. While Juventus had an agreement with both players, everything is found with them about contract, about salary, about their role in the team, probably already the number of the shirt, everything. Super excited to join Juventus. The entourage was happy, the commission, everything was done. The clubs, that's where it stops. Because if for Calafiori, Juventus had done everything, and even were in late stages talks with Bologna, well, Bologna changed their mind. Acerbi, injury. Then you had the other guy there, also the young guy, injured, didn't participate to Euro 2024. Calafiori called up, fantastic, beautiful Euro. And Bologna, they anticipated the sale of Riccardo, because they wanted initially to keep him one more year. But they changed the request. At Juve, they said, no, to sit at the table from now on, it's 40 up, not less. We don't want to sell it to you. Honestly, we don't even want. So it's 40 up. Where Juventus, they even sat again with them to discuss again with them. They pushed, again, being strong from that agreement from the player. But Bologna, they resisted. And can we blame really Bologna? If you know that you start having a huge big competition from Tottenham first, then Chelsea and Arsenal, and they are fighting, and from the latest that I hear, Arsenal is even up to 55 million euro, we can't blame Bologna that well. The only thing that we can blame Bologna is that they gave a price tag to Juve before Euro in the month of May, and they changed. So the verbal promise changed, and that can irritate management. Juventus, I think, correctly said, look, this is what we were about to give you, that we agreed on. We understand, we want to raise our offer, but according to us, Riccardo Calafiori, that is a fantastic player, that has a beautiful prospect and a beautiful future, at the moment it's not worth 50 million euro. We can't go from 27, what we promised, to 55. It is impossible. It is out of proportion. No way. Forget about it. And that's where Juventus retracted. So can we blame Juventus now? Can we say, no, but they needed to go obligedly for Calafiori and not for Koopmeiners? No, because don't forget that Douglas Luiz and Kefren Thuram, Douglas Luiz is an opportunity in this talk with Aston Villa. You remember McKennie, Ealing Jr., it's an opportunity that you anticipated, but these two players are not the players that will bring you the goals to Juventus. So you're not obliged to go with the midfielders that gives you that offensive strength, that offensive power. Not that creativity a la Douglas Costa, because these are the wingers that will offer it, but a player that is strong there. And that's where Juventus is obliged to go for a player a la Koopmeiners. Today, is he really hot for Koopmeiners? After the two other midfielders, they will accelerate. They want to go with a team that is, at least in the mind of Thiago Motta, at least with contract, as close as possible to what will be the reality, so that Thiago can really study the players, how he wants to use them. And that's where we give up on Calafiori. But Juventus, we can't blame them. They did everything, and I think it's correct. It's over now to play like that. Hey, how much do you want? Like that? No, we increase. No, we stop. We don't want. But for Inter, it's a bit cheaper. And for that team, it's a bit cheaper. But for Juve, we do the anti-Juve pack. Basta. Basta. So stop thinking, should we have done? No, because the two were essential in Juventus project, and Koopmeiners and Calafiori. At the end, for Koopmeiners, looks like things are going the right way, with Zaniolo announced by Atalanta soon, and freeing up, understanding that they need to decrease a bit the request for Juve, while for the other, it's over. And that's important. Now, Tutto Sport is going with the news. Juventus, last minute, they tried to go for Buongiorno, fantastic, beautiful Italian defender from Torino. Is it a true news or not? Honestly, I don't know. Do I believe in that news? There is some possibility. I remember a last minute 2 years ago, Bremer, the same thing. We flop in that signing, we have the money. Do you remember that we were even on Rudiger? At the end, it was impossible, 12 million euro salary by Real Madrid. But do you remember that we had a bit of cash, especially after the sale of De Ligt, and we said, you know what, he is about to go to Inter, let's go and sign him. And apparently there was a big offer for him. Is it a question of money? We have the money, we don't have the money? In a way, yes, because Juventus, we know it, they don't have the unlimited budget. On the other side, they had planned probably a 40 million euro that were not enough for Bologna, for Calafiori, and they said, you know what, let's go for Buongiorno as soon as possible now. Buongiorno said, according to Tutto Sport, I can't. I grew up in a family of Turin fans. I am a Torino fan. I grew up there in the youth academy since I'm 7. I can't. I'm sorry. I would love to, but I can't. And I respect that. Sorry for him that he will go to Napoli. It is what it is. Anyway, why am I happy about Koopmeiners? We know that here on the channel we spoke about Zirkzee, we spoke about Xavi Simons, we spoke about the Koopmeiners. I always told you I love Koopmeiners and I would love him at Juve. Even if 60, I don't think that it will happen. But on the other side, he's the player that I want. And you know why I'm even more happy? Because according to the latest rumors, Koopmeiners is a player that really wants to join Juve. He really wants to join Juve. There is an agreement, a 4.5 million euro salary per year, which is for a player like him not crazy. And on the other side, he's refusing every other approach, interest. He doesn't want even to hear the approach, the interest from Premier League. He wants to stay in Italy. He wants to go to Juventus. That's the team that he has chosen. And he's ready to wait even longer until Juventus, they found an agreement with Atalanta. If a player is showing me that patient, that will to join Juve, which Calafiori showed in a bit, but then changed, guys, all in for Koopmeiners. I want players that really want to join Juventus. And that's where we go towards the discussion of Dean Huijsen. Dean Huijsen is a fantastic player. You know that I love him. I always told you, according to me, it's even stronger in potential than a Kenan Yildiz. But unfortunately, apparently, according to the rumors, Dean is not showing the same strength, belief than a Teun Koopmeiners. Yes, he wants to stay if he has a fundamental role, which at the moment is impossible. It is impossible. We saw his performances. At today, it is impossible that he has the role that he's requesting. And that's why Juventus is putting him on the market, financing, funding also the other sales that we need to do, like a Koopmeiners. And who are the teams that are interested? We told you, Newcastle in UK. Then you have a lot of teams from Bundesliga, Leverkusen, etc., Stuttgart, but also Aston Villa in Premier League are interested. We know they are friends now. Aston Villa can become potentially the new next gen of Juve, so why not? It's not for another player from Aston Villa, but it is for cash only, which could be really great. Who is Juventus thinking about? It is Kivior, that we already spoke since a few days. A lot of people are telling me, Beppe, but we don't like. On the other side, look, on that one, it's not my preferred one on the list. I would have preferred by miles a Calafiori, but I trust Thiago Motta. If Thiago Motta already coached him at Spezia and he tells us, I believe in the guy, he has that potential, he can do, go for it. Go for it, especially because he will have 0 spot at Arsenal. Go for Kivior. I trust Thiago Motta. And then there is a name that is exciting me. It's the one of Couto. Couto, maybe I will even put him on the thumbnail. He's a player. When I'm looking at the team, and I see A team, B team, and I see Danilo on the right side, or Gatti, and I see Cambiaso on the left, with maybe even Giallo, we miss something. And if you are able to bring me a young Couto that is young, that has a double citizenship, that has 1 more year of contract, so the value is still high, but the price tag is decreasing. If you know how he's playing, fantastic offensive fullback. creativity, dribbles. He can pass the man. He's able to give you a lot of assists, of course. Defensively, he's not the king. He's not the king at the moment, but it's a player that can really, really bring something to Juve. I would love a young Couto. I am excited about a young Couto. Really, really, really. Will it happen or not? Good question. I don't know at the moment. Una gran signora, a huge lady, a beautiful lady. This is the title of Gazzetta dello Sport. But to do that, of course, we need also not only 11 players to start, but also the other players. And Juventus, why? Not a lot of people are talking about it. Well, yesterday, without even announcing, they put the contract of Adzic in La Lega. It is official, Adzic is a Juventus player since yesterday, and he will be one of the first one to join the first team in a training camp already in La Continassa on the 10th of July. I'm happy. They are telling, and I repeat you, and I already told you, the best thing that happened to Montenegro football since Jovetic 15 years ago. Can you imagine? He's a fantastic guy. Starting the Retiro, going in Germany with the team, and then who knows when, after a period of adaptation with the next gen, when he can join that first team, maybe being the vice Koopmeiners. Fantastic player, Adzic. Good news when I tell you that Como will be a tough one because we probably will not have yet the team ready, is that yesterday in press conference for l'équipe nationale olympique de France, the Olympic national team of France, Thierry Henry said one player is leaving because the new club is not agreeing to let him stay here, and it is Juventus Football Club that is going for Khéphren Thuram. So Khéphren Thuram, instead of coming back or ending his dream of Olympic on the 10th of August, will anticipate it because he's not even playing. And that's good. He will probably be announced next week. He will do the medicals, then he will enjoy a few days of holiday and then fighting for a starting spot. If Koopmeiners is we can't discuss that he's a starter at Juve. Douglas Luiz, we can't discuss that he's a starter at Juve. Well, Khéphren Thuram, don't forget, he's a young player. He comes not from Premier League or Serie A. He comes from Ligue 1. Comes from Nice. He has a lot of things to show, to prove, and also him wanted to shorter that period, to be as soon as possible available for Thiago Motta. So pay attention. Now, you always have these bad news in a way. Mercato, you know it. Sometimes it makes you smile, sometimes it makes you cry. More and more and more, guys. I'm sorry, but I will repeat because otherwise you will be surprised one day. But more and more and more, Federico Chiesa is out of Juventus. More and more and more, Federico Chiesa is out of Juventus. Who is more and more and more and more in Juventus? It is Sancho. And Sancho is a top player. And the latest rumors are saying that Sancho is really interested in Juventus Football Club. Then, Manchester United, they prefer to sell him. We prefer to have him on loan. Wait. But that was what I wanted to tell you. So many news. Guys, I tell you, the names that I'm hearing, Couto, Mitaj on the left back. I'm hearing names that are really fundamental to have a really strong, a really beautiful Juventus that can start playing against Como, Verona, Roma, Napoli, Inter, Milan, etc., etc., with a top team. And then it's, of course, the field that will tell us if Juventus did well, yes or not. If Giuntoli did well, yes or not. Grazie, forza. Juve. Ciao.